Hey, what is up guys, Marcy here, back to do another video, and today I've got a pretty cool game on Tournament Decision. I'm going to be playing as the Marked of Kane. Now originally I was going to bring you all the first person video of this game, but I unfortunately did mess up the recording in that, so I'm just going to cast this replay. Fortunately I did save the replay. I found it to be a pretty good game, and things start off with a bang. Let's just keep an eye on this engineer here. It's moving through the Tiberium. It's going through that hazardous green Tiberium, which of course is not good for your health. And he dies, sadly. Now let me explain why I did that. With Black Hand, engineers have slightly more armor on them. The Black Hand engineers are a little bit more armored compared to Marked of Kane. So I got a little bit confused there. Sadly, I did lose my engineer going to this tail spike, so that's not a good start for me at all. Bart Jones over here is going to be playing as the Steel Talons. Let me just go ahead and turn down my scroll speed. This is actually a replay that I'm casting. Haven't casted my own replays in a long time, but it will allow me to get you all the perspective from me, and also you can see it, my opponent, and what he's doing, what he's building. Nothing typically happens early on unless I'm going for like a shadow team rush on this map, which is viable. The original decision prompted for the Tiberium spikes to be shifted a little bit due to engineers getting sniped before they reach these spikes. That's why people prefer to play on this version of the map now. We've still kept in the original, but this is considered to be the version to play online. A Titan and MRT comes out for Bart Jones. Expansion underway. He's of course going to unpack his construction yard and place it here, due to him being able to spread his refineries to avoid the catalyst missile from getting two refineries, because the radius is pretty substantial. You of course, as a nod player against GUI, don't have to worry about such things. I did see this push coming in advance, that's why I built a Hand of Nod. Got an Awakened for that EMP blast. It's a special ability of the Awakened and Enlightened. Was nerfed for the Awakened squads in R20. MoK had a over-representation in R19 along with Tran 59. Therefore those factions got nerfed. This EMP is now 4 seconds, reduced from 5. That just makes Enlightened all the more appealing. Harvesters here will be taking some damage. That Titan, I need to watch out for it. It's going to the tip spike. Not deciding to push into my base, of course it wouldn't be able to get in there. I've got so much infantry. Bart Jones, whilst this has been happening, has been ecoing away. He's got 1, 2, 3, 6 harvesters working on his 7th one. I have an extra harvester, but remember I didn't get my Tiberium spike. I'm trying to capture it now. I've got this engineer trying to get that spike, but the Titan will block me. So that was a better use of the Titan. He's going to stop me from taking that tip spike down there. Spike taking some damage. I do have alternate skins on my tip spikes. If you guys want this, then download the 4K mod alternate version. You'll find this Tiberium spike skin along with several other things. You can see that cool glow there on the air tower. That isn't like that without the 4K mod. Overall visualization of each player is easier with the 4K mod. Titan going in for the crush, doesn't quite get the harvester, but due to that 1 second nerf, the harvester was able to crush, Titan was able to crush a harvester, so that got more than what it bargained for. Sniped the engineer and destroyed a harvester. That'll put Bart Jones firmly ahead in this game. He's got 7 and 3. I now have to rebuild my harvesters. I have to deal with these hammerheads. And you guys will not guess the transition that I have made in this game. No, it is not stealth tanks. No, it is not avatars. It is indeed the Venom patrol craft. These lightly armored Venoms. And you may think that's a bad idea, Leaf, due to the supersonic airstrike, due to the Firehawks. But with Marked of Kane, you do get access to the supercharged particle beams, and because it's such an unorthodox choice, The Steel Talons player hasn't got very much in the form of anti-air. He's got short a couple of those pit balls, but I can focus those down relatively quickly. Look at the damage without particle beams on these pit balls. Taking them out relatively quickly, and now I can just focus them down quite fast. EMP gets thrown. I may lose my War Factory. Hammerhead there will get taken out by these Venoms. And Venoms will take out a handful of those Wolverines and survive to live another day. I've got a couple there which are heavily damaged. This one here could go back to base for some repairs. But I'm going to see what I can find here. See if I can take out a Harvester. Without the supercharged particle beams, the damage is pretty low. Firehawk's out here for Bart Jones. He's also got a lot of pit balls upgraded with mortars. Tier 3 online for Bart Jones. I myself have my tier 3 and I have just completed the supercharged particle beams. Now the Venoms have that supercharge on them. You can see the model right there indicates that they have the upgrade. It significantly increases the DPS of those Venoms. What I'm trying to do here is, or what I remember trying to do was use a decoy army on my Harvesters. So the pitbulls all shot at the decoys and then the Venoms clean up the pitbulls. But I wasn't able to time that just right. And now these Firehawks are engaging, take out several of my Venoms, not trading for any of them. And the key is to keep flying around, maneuver, due to the threat of that supersonic airstrike, which is lethal. Putting them over this mountain also helps defend against supersonic airstrike. If you leave your aircraft right here, supersonic won't destroy them. So that is, if you need a place to place your Venoms, just put them over these mountains and supersonic airstrike won't be able to harm them, which I think is a pretty pro tip. One of those Venoms though has promoted to a veteran. Avatar moves in. I did that just to see if I can kill the pitbulls, but he's going to go down. He's just going to do some scouting intel, no more. No dual beam on that one right there. A lot of pitbulls over here. There's also tungsten shells upgraded on that AA battery, an upgrade that you rarely see upgraded so early on, but due to this Venom switch, Bart Jones deemed that to be a good choice, which I do as well. Now I'm going to transition into Enlightened, because I've already purchased the supercharged particle beams, which the Enlightened also benefit from. I've purchased the cybernetic legs as well, and since I'm Marked of Kane, I get discounted disruption towers at $500. 2 stealth tanks as well, just for anti-air, because Enlightened only work with sufficient anti-aircraft to defend against those hammer hits. I deploy a Voice of Kane on the front line, which in R20 was buffed. The radius of it has been increased. Tungsten AA is so powerful. Look, just 1 second of it and my Venoms are forced to pull back. Bart Jones C&C3 though cannot deploy right there. It's next to that barracks and you can't deploy due to these buildings, and that was a nice night for me. There was nothing that he could have done to save that Conyard. I was just waiting there and I was able to snare that MCV, so that's a good thing for me considering how I was a little bit behind. Bart Jones has a double ref there. He's got so much income coming in. I have 1 refinery of my own, but that's not quite enough. Due to the bug fix on the Harvesters, there are no issues anymore with having 4 or 5 Harvesters waiting to dock in a refinery. Here's a structure you guys haven't seen very often either, the Air Support Tower. That has double the health compared to vanilla, and you also get an infantry unit for selling it off. Just doing a bit of recon here with these Venoms, and I'm now going to use my Marked of Kane Cyborg army to attack my opponent. And yes, I will keep the health bars enabled in this video. I see Cyborg disables his health bars and only engages it for engagements, but I like to visualize all of this because you can see the micro. Stealth tanks sweep in, take out that hammerhead, and now this watchtower, I can just EMP that. I've got Enlighten, and what do Enlighten not kill? They don't kill riflemen. That's why I brought along some Tiberium Troopers, so we're seeing a very Marked of Kane-esque strategy. All the awakened, all the Enlightened squads coming in here to fight for Kane. They are coming in, the stealth tanks as well to assist. Those Firehawks are just waiting. They can't really engage. And the Tib Troopers are also strong against structures. They're not as good as Black Hand squads, but they have more range. And I'm able to put significant DPS onto this construction yard, taking it out Wolverines being made. No more Watchtower production, but the Wolverines are still out in force. Those Pitbulls also have anti-infantry. They've got the mortars, which deal significant damage. Firehawks sweep in, but the stealth tanks will make them pay. Some flanking Wolverines as well were taken out by those stealth tanks, and just look at the DPS on these Tiberium Troopers, a unit comp that you rarely see. And they even deal splash damage. I'm trying to focus down the Wolverines first, just so I can limit his anti-infantry capability. That slingshot there was built to counter Venoms, which are just standing by. I may have lost them all, but that doesn't matter because I've got a stealth tank here. That's my only anti-air, so I have to make sure I keep that alive. All of the Enlightened were destroyed, however, and now it is just these Tiberium Troopers. And look at the damage on this refinery. Tib Troopers doing a lot of damage to those structures. I'm using them as sort of flame tanks. I don't get flame tanks as Marked of Kane, but I have Tib Troopers, and I don't think you guys have seen this many Tib Troopers in a single game of Kane's Wrath. That's why I thought this game is super cool. Bart Jones trying to focus the ground to kill this stealth tank. I watched a couple of his games on his live stream, and he does indeed focus fire the ground with behemoths and juggernauts. He's got a good eye for it as well, so I need to be very careful, otherwise I will lose my stealth tank. I haven't got much eco behind this. Some infantry down south. Don't really have anything really besides this little army you see in the middle. An army of Tiberium Troopers. I'm now reinforcing with several Enlightened. I can garrison this foxhole, but that isn't going to last long. Though I maybe should have, because these foxholes are, yeah, just causing me problems. I do de-garrison the foxhole, and now these behemoths are just going to start focus firing the ground. This stealth tank, you need to put it on hold fire stance so it doesn't get destroyed. It still is stealthed. If it goes under 25% health, it will lose its stealth and will be vulnerable then. I'm long leeching from the top of this map, and now I'm responding to an attack down in the south. These missiles were sent in to respond, and now I can't really attack because there's hammerheads out. These behemoths are quite a problem. They can siege my base for sure, and if Bart Jones makes several Pitbulls and Wolverines again, then it's going to be tricky once more for me. I'm bringing in Tiberium, albeit slowly. Bart Jones still has a spike advantage over me. He's got 2 spikes. I have not yet captured mine. I've been focusing predominantly on the micro, and now the hammerheads are sweeping in. That awakened will spot the hammerheads. I'm going to transition again back into Venoms. That Tiberium coming in here. I've got this combat support airfield just so I can heal my Venoms up on this front. It's an inexpensive structure. I can set it off, get an awakened. And now the stealth tank is just causing problems. It has ranked up to elite, and you guys probably know where that is going. Or it may not, you'll see. But there's plenty of anti-air here now with that Firehawk there. And I'm going to play this one out cautiously. I don't want to engage on his terms. There is no need for me to attack. I've got this stealth here, and I can even build a Voice of Kane statue and buff my infantry army. So there's the Voice of Kane statue, which will grant my infantry plus 50% fire rate and 25% reduction to incoming fire. Stealth tank takes out a Firehawk, so my Venoms are going to be safe because I need all the anti-air I can get against these hammerheads. Bart Jones is left with just 2 Pitbulls, so this is going to be enough for me, especially with the AA turrets. I've researched Tib Core before for my stealth tanks, and now this stealth tank is pushing in, and the stealth tank retreats once again. Here we see the EMPs being thrown down. Hammerheads taking out my units. That is a lot of damage from that AP ammo. Stealth tank coming in here, taking out the last of the Wolverines. Does get taken out, and now with the buff from the Voice of Kane, all my infantry will start focusing on these juggernauts. Look at that damage. Crazy amount of DPS there. It's just mostly Tib Troopers, but Tib Troopers, whilst bad against heavily armored targets such as behemoths, can take out Wolverines And that's exactly what happened there. Bart Jones throws in the towel. There's an elite Venom. That would have been cool to see go heroic. And that was it. Literally a game won with Tib Troopers. And I thought that that was a cool game to highlight for this week. I wanted to give you all another game during this week, but we'll see. I have been struggling to get games. I do have priorities in real life. But nonetheless, I still want to keep my channel up to date and active. I don't want to leave you all stranded without any content, and I thought that that was an amazing game there. So if you enjoyed that game, don't forget to smash the like button. I'd really appreciate that. Definitely a classic map there, Tournament Decision. I haven't really played on it much, but games usually are pretty good on there. Anyways guys, this is giving me Master Leaf. Peace out.